Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You already know what time it is, baby. Little Black Book, you know what time it is. Talking to you guys about Dark Girls 2. Doing a quick reaction. Just to watch just 1 or 2 minutes of this video. And I think it's really, really powerful just to talk about, I guess, the difficulties with colorism and just talking about how this woman's experience shaped her. And I think many of you will agree and understand where she's coming from. So make sure you get like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads, and let's go.
Cruel. And it seemed that every feature I had was unbecoming to my peers. I was always tall. I was always slim. I was always dark. I was black stick. I was tar baby. I was all sorts of things that were very hurtful. But if I can think back as a child and still tear up at this age, even though I feel that I've overcome that stage in my life, there must be something still in there. I think I go back to being that little girl, remembering that time, that emotion, being embarrassed because, people were laughing and pointing. And remember when he said this about her and, watching me break down, watch me run off into a bathroom. I never really liked the spotlight on me, so people pointing.
And I think I wanted to pause it there. And I think the reason why is because as I was watching it, I was obviously I'm a male, so I can't tell you that I fully understand the position of this woman being the fact that she is a woman and how we're affected by colorism. We're affected, men and women, although they're both affected by colorism, the greater weight is oftentimes on women just because of the way that looks play into the way that we perceive value when it comes to attractiveness in women oftentimes. So watching this, I was I was hurt for her, you know what I mean? Because I think many of us have been kids before, and kids are awfully true and awfully cruel at the same time. And many of their thoughts are oftentimes from what they've been taught, if not all. I mean, these things are not things that they're born with. They are taught to feel, think, and say these things because of what they've been in the environment they're in, which has been governed by adults. So adults who have shaped an environment for kids to believe in these falsities, whether it's TV shows, whether it's films, whether it's books, whether it's a whole manner of stuff, that is entertainment wise that have began to shape, I would say, shape the way that we think and feel about attractiveness. So when you listen to her story, I think most of us who are black can resonate, who are especially with dark skin, you can resonate because you might have been called a certain name, said that you're not pretty, you're pretty for a black skin girl, or you know what, you're blick and you're dark, can we see you when the lights go off, kind of thing. We've all had these kind of, I guess, comments that have come out, and so to see that obviously the way she's feeling about herself, even now that there's still something there, I mean, it's natural. Most of us still feel the effects of what we suffered as children, and our minds don't forget. They hold us in our experiences that we don't want to experience that again, or if we do experience it again, we don't want to experience such a painful experience once again. So we'll continue and we'll talk a bit more.
Apparently I have residue. And being a girl, being a sensitive girl, young lady, trying to do all that's right and still not being accepted, not being popular. I didn't want that kind of popularity, but I didn't want to be teased. And most of it was comments about my skin color. Now that I relive it, thank you very much. Yeah.
And I think once again here we're hearing some very, very key words here. Being accepted, wanting to be, and it's not even like she said, it's not about being popular that everybody loves you, but it's being to a point where the first word she said, accepted, being approved of, and not being made to feel like something about you is wrong simply because you're a different color. And I think many people don't understand this, even when they're black, maybe because they're a little bit lighter, may not have never gone through this. And if you've never gone through this, I think you may find it hard to understand what's happening here. So let me just kind of just expound on what's happening here. What's happening here is that someone's color being a darker shade, not just now being black. So it's been a darker shade, an unacceptable level of black, now coming against or now being a reason for being teased or insulted and made to feel like they're not worthy of love. And if we don't hear this message of you're beautiful, you're valuable, you're worthy, your value isn't you're not devalued because you're a darker skin. What I'm saying? You're a queen, you're royalty. If we hear these things from young, it helps to shape our narrative and what we think about ourselves. And many of us never heard this. So when we go out into the world and we're hearing another voice, what we're hearing is that we're not good enough. And then when you hear kids saying what they're saying, you know that they're saying these things and you're not sure why they're saying it. And this is the thing, it's unprovoked. So it's not like you did anything wrong to them. It's not like you got into a fight, an argument with them. It's simply unprovoked, that someone says these things about you. And that's scary. So just to hear those words of coming from her, you're made to feel like you've got a disease or you're different to everything else, and all you can see is color. All you can, and even you per se might not even see the color. You might not even be thinking it's the color per se that people are seeing me differently. But simply because you are darker, that's the reason why someone sees you differently. It's crazy, man. Sorry.
Get in this back corner and try to like find my light. And it would sound like so vain when I'd be like, can we turn this way so like the light can hit me? And they're like, what do you mean? The light is everywhere. And I'm like, it's not. It's not.
I was always
I think many of us have experienced this particular thing happening to us. That when you're so anti your black skin, and we see it in this generation as well, modern generation, where with social media, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, anything where you can have a filter now on your particular photos now, and you start to realize these imperfections that we have, and these and our skin tone being darker and then being lightened by a filter, we tend to tap into that because we're trying to validate or find some validation in the fact of being approved and being accepted by having a lighter skin. Now, I'm not saying that everybody thinks raw. I'm trying to lighten my skin, but when we do use these filters on the photos and we see the unblemished and we see the pristine clean and we see this a little bit lighter skinned in the right light, suddenly we adore our skin tone. Suddenly we believe this is the photo. Yes, out of my camera roll, this is the photo. Why? Because the skin tone looks a certain way, and we're scared to be insulted and scared to be made to look like or scared to even, I would say scared because we know that skin tone has a very big part to play in our attractiveness, and in order to look attractive, we buy into even those filters.
Courage to embrace my skin color. I always loved the color of my skin. I was in love with my father, and my father was dark, and so, of course, I wanted to be like him. My child is dark, and I raised her the same way, to
Embrace your skin color. There's nothing wrong with. I would get, when she was a baby, I remember this lady stopping me. She was black, and she said, "Oh, that's such a pretty baby." I said, "Oh, thank you." She goes, "What's the father?" So what? I'm sorry. What do you mean? Well, is he mixed with something, or he? Because she's so. I mean, her hair is so curly, and she's so dark, but she's so pretty. She's dark, but she's so pretty. Like,
Yo, for me, that's wild. I think these are some of the comments that we hear. Pretty for a dark skinned girl, and you hear white folks saying this a lot of times when they're saying it. But then you also hear black men, especially black men, internalizing that, and you hear them say, "Oh, you know what? I don't really date black girls, but you're exotic. I'll date you." Or do you know what? You're dark skinned, but you're pretty for a dark skin still. And you hear these comments, people internalizing this madness. And the reason why is because they just are, a lot of us are uneducated and unaware how to love ourselves and our skin tone unapologetically, And so suddenly now, you've got a case in your hands where, you've got a guy saying, that kind of stupidity. And in this case, it was another woman saying it. And you see that obviously even the colorism, internalizing itself even in women. And so yeah, it's just crazy it's crazy that this thing it goes so deep and so far. But yeah, guys, I don't want to do any more. I don't want to. We'll do probably another video if you want it on it. But I really wanted to at least do a little bit of this and just kind of just appreciate the fact that we love the fact that dark skin girls are beautiful. We love that dark skin girls are intelligent. We love that dark skin girls are amazing. We love that dark skin girls are everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're not everything because they're dark. They're everything because they are just amazing in general. You know what I'm saying? And we need to send this message out to our kids, and we need to send this out to our future generations that, hey, love your skin tone, appreciate it, know that it's that the dark. I didn't know when you say the darker the berry, sweet the juice, but I didn't want to say that. I want to say like, listen, the fact that you are carrying this color and this melanin, yeah, it doesn't make you devalued. It doesn't make you less. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to say it makes you more. I'm going to say to you that, listen, appreciate your difference and appreciate the fact that, listen, you are called to be kings and queens, regardless of color. You're called to be kings and queens, but even more so, the fact that you are a dark-skinned woman or man, you got to appreciate the fact that, listen, God has given you this melanin for a reason. You understand? But anyway, let me stop preaching. You get me? I hope you guys like, share, subscribe. Please put on your thoughts as well, what you think about the situation as well. Go for it.